I think to make it less uncomfortable for yourself, have reasons. Don't just say I'm expecting figure X. I even drop a whole Excel spreadsheet, a whole Excel, like you will not miss my calculations and my thought process to the number I gave you.
I think when they are clear, and don't take it personally when they say no. It's not like they are rejecting you. They're rejecting the figure. You see, I think it will be important for someone to watch all the previous episodes that we have done. Because I feel like you can't just come from nowhere. That's one of the things that I'm saying.
And understand what we're about
to say. Another point I think I'd almost forgotten is
another thing about honor that we didn't cover quickly before we move into another point is it's amazing how it's like a defense almost. Like it kind of covers even where you make mistakes, I've seen it so many times with people, and I'm just like, if the same person who people did not feel or didn't have that level of honor made the same mistake, they would have been dealt with.
And they're willing to be taken to court for that. Because you find in law, you'll find the rules are not being consistently applied. But they don't care. They know. They know you.
And you can't take them to task. The thing is, you can't, like, there's certain things that are so subtle. You can't prove.
You see.
So honor, people will cover for you. Like I said, if your honor is consistent in your character, from CEO to someone at the reception, will be covering for you.
They'll be trying to help you to see how best they can do it. So I think
it's quite a strength. What do we call it? It's a flex.
It's a flex.
Honor is a flex.
It's a superpower. Yes.
Under control.
So I think it's important, guys, that when you journey this journey in corporate, one other thing that you should never do is to self-promote. You know, self-promotion.
What's self-promotion?
Self-promotion is when you portray yourself as this amazing, top-level individual, and you have a tendency where you talk big. You talk big, even in the interviews, and I've seen a lot of people do that, and you create a high level of expectation only to find out that you don't possess those skills.
And it will be so underwhelming
and
for
even
everyone.
If you did, to self-promote just creates negative energy towards you, because that's in the realm of pride. People just don't want to help people who are prideful.
And why should we help you when you got it all
covered? You have it all under control,
and I've noticed I would really, really encourage the sales guys, the sales and marketing team, because they talk about these big deals.
Okay, calling them out now.
I cut $1 million.
I did this. I've got this portfolio of clients that I can bring into the business. When you talk like that,
the expectation
is at a very high level.
And
when it's always good, to undersell and over deliver. That's a good one. So that at least it sets you up well.
And people are willing to help.
They are willing to help.
Like no one is willing to help someone who says they're this big dog. I know it all. I got it sorted. Everyone's watching to see you deliver this thing.
Yes.
Everyone is watching you to see how you're gonna land this plane.
And how you're going to fail, because that's what they're waiting for.
That's what they're watching to see.
Because people
I
don't
always
want
tell you
people.
guys, in corporate, you'll hear it. It's called How the Mighty Have Fallen.
They fall. So it's important that you don't self-promote when allowed to be promoted, especially. And I think, I'm not saying, because one might not understand what I'm saying, I'm not saying that when we are talking about promotion, you don't highlight the things that you have done.
No.
There are things that if you have done certain projects at a high level, I think we're going to talk about that how to negotiate your salary and everything. There are things you have to have your portfolio of evidence.
Yeah, because you can't just want a certain figure without saying why.
Without being quantified. It has to be quantified. What is it what value?
So we're not saying don't do that.
What did you do? How many giants did you slay? You can't just go and say, I want a salary increase. This is not like a union. People in the union just go
and demand a salary increase.
So Tate and Pals, I just have a quick question here. So what do you guys say to, especially ladies in corporate, right, who want to apply this honor thing, and they have a male boss, and now the line,
girl, I was hoping that don't come up.
So you are trying to practice honor. Next thing, the male boss, the lines are a little blurry. How does then a lady handle that type of situation? And there's still promotion that you're trying to, of course, work towards. But what's the balance? Like, how do we navigate that?
We actually touched on this a bit in one of the episodes. But even it's hard, even as a lady, to have a male mentor. It's tricky and it's unfair because majority of the people in the high leadership positions are men. So it's really restrictive, it's unfair. But how would you handle it?
I think in any relationship, it's first of all, I think it's the lines should never be blurry. The relationship should be defined.
Yeah.
So if you've got a male boss, right? If he's older than you, you have to, I would encourage you, brother zone him. He's your big brother. Or he's your dad. If you put those categories into family structure, it becomes difficult for you to move them into other relationships. But if they are not defined, where they just say it's my boss, I can be your boss. Ooh.
And I like it. Be interested in the family.
Yes.
Be interested in things that just.
I would rather honor if he's got a wife.
Yeah, rather on her birthday do something.
Honor them and try and relate with them from a family structure.
Even when if he has a PA or his right hand is a lady, those are easier.
So just
angles.
try and just make it very clear that there are no attractions in the way you honor them, and
even
you just kill that relationship.
You address them I don't know. For me personally, this is a personal thing. It's not apply it across everything. It's the way I talk to, especially male leadership. I'll always put a Mr. Sir, Mr. CEO. Mr. So I don't take it on first name basis.
On first name basis.
So So.
And I'm also just thinking. Also, I do think we also have a tendency. As women, subconsciously, to send out a specific energy. This superpower works for you. Other places. So I think there's also a lack of integrity in how we approach the relationship. Us ourselves, and then we want the perks of that without the actual
other thing.
And then you hide behind but I did nothing. That sort of thing. But there's no
without
integrity
the uncomfortability.
Yes.
Because I think it's something that Paul's also said in a different episode, where she's like, truth, eventually what it is will always come out. So whatever you're projecting, it will play out.
Yes.
And I don't know, for me, I don't know. I know it happens out there where people blur lines but really top notch, it's very few. Leader in top, real top notch, not claiming top notch. It's very few. People who blur the lines and try to take advantage. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but and I think for me the bigger challenge that I'm always concerned about, it's not that if we have this mentorship or this honor thing, the lines are gonna be blurred. That's not what I'm usually concerned about. I'm usually concerned for the other party because I know male leadership are concerned about what people are thinking. So if I'm with pals the whole time for lunch, for coffee, what are people thinking? So he's not even concerned that he's gonna blur the lines with you. He's so concerned about what perception we're sending out there. And that's why sometimes they avoid mentoring ladies or having a relationship with ladies. So I think it's a problem, I don't know, it's a societal problem that we need to deal with, to be more accepting of those relationships, that they can happen without strings, without being there, without any weird vibes,
And you as a person, you can never blur any lines if you are not blurred yourself, because you as a person, that I can never cross this line. So to the pure, all things are pure. So it's usually the perception. Relate with them in a professional manner and don't go beyond those parameters. especially if it's a male person. If you have an opportunity to relate with their family,
that's the
do
best.
it in a professional manner as well, with proper honor. And if you do that, when you are honorable, people can recognize. They might feel a bit weird a bit, but they can recognize that you are coming from a pure place. You're not coming to destroy anything. Yes. So that should always be there, especially with those spaces. And I mean, be that not for, it shouldn't be targeted. When their lines are blurred, is you are targeted. It's just targeted. But if you are like that general to even all other male counterparts, even to all other male bosses, you are like that.
And everyone
so
knows
people
this
can't
is
say
it's not just like special treatment.
You are consistent across. You just develop that culture.
I love that. I think that has been my biggest takeaway with this honor thing. It's really not man pleasing, and how you see it's not man pleasing is the consistency across the board. And so if you are doing it to Mr. CEO, no one will find you weird, like, ooh, what's happening?
Because
it's just like that's how she is. That's how
because the driver and the janitor are gonna talk the same thing about you.
So
you see.
So are you flirting with everyone?
You see.
So are you having a fling with everyone now?
That's the thing.
So there's something that you touched on, Tate. I want to ask on this negotiating for a salary.
Yeah.
You know,
the Benjamins.
Because I guess, you know, I mean, money in the bank. We care about that. So coming into that room, how do you arm yourself? What are the do's and the don'ts as I'm stepping into that session?
You see, I think it will be important for someone to watch all the previous episodes that we have done.
Understand.
Because I feel like you can't just come from nowhere. That's one of the things that I'm saying.
Understand what I'm about to say.
You can't just come to a meeting, and I mean, you want to talk about salary negotiations.
From nowhere.
Without practicing anything. You just rocking up. I mean, I think it works.
All you know is that there's inflation.
It works with the trade unions.
And I need an increase.
With the trade unions, it does work because they have some bargaining power. They are just going to throw out their toys. But if you are not part of a trade union, you have to know that all of these things, those coffee runs, those school runs, they are now coming into together. They are coming into play.
It's time for you to withdraw from that bank.
If you have not deposited anything, don't go for salary negotiations. Wait for them to just make it very awkward for you and everyone in that room. Because they have nothing. You have nothing on your scorecard. I mean, you have not done anything. Because for value, everyone, in terms of value, everyone is dancing. So and that's why you get received a salary. And you see those matrices, they are very clear. I don't know how people will miss them. They will tell you, you have not met the standard. You're below standard. You have met the standard. Right? You need what? Improvement. Right? You have met the standard. And there's another you have done over. You've exceeded. So many a times we are on the middle. We have just met the standard. The idea is not to meet the standard. It's to exceed the standard, because it's when we exceed the standards, that's when we talk about bonuses. Because we employed you for meeting the standard, and
we've been paying you.
You don't get a bonus for. You don't get a bonus for doing your job.
Sure.
You don't get a promotion for doing your job.
The word bonus, even
people. I mean,
the word bonus itself is self-explanatory.
Where we are, I think, because of this culture of where, like. I must be honest, guys, like companies are really trying. Like even the way they give bonuses, it's like, it's not, if they were really going to be strict, half the time we wouldn't be getting bonuses. Because right now they'll give you for even just crossing over the line, and also the group effort and group, you know, and you get the bonus, you know, if the group performed well and you just met your standards and did your job, you get a bonus, right? But like honestly, when I come and say I want a salary increase, like it's not the normal progression of the yearly increase and what now I'm this is a different level now. But I'm like, let's sit down, let's review this situation. You need to have proper things with you.
You have to have a proper portfolio of evidence. What is it that you have done?
Yes.
That does not deserve what we've been giving you.
What we have been.
Yes.
Yes. So I think you have to literally, do exceedingly well.
Especially if you're negotiating it while you're in a company.
Yes.
That you need to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's easier to negotiate a salary when you're coming in from somewhere else beforehand.
That's an easier space.
It's an easier space, but once you're inside, girl.
It's a little tough when you're inside.
Yeah, have your evidence.
But
right.
I've noticed that even be that as it may, even like let's say I'm negotiating outside, it feels awkward. I don't know whether it's a cultural thing.
Yeah,
You're
it's a cultural
scared.
thing.
Yeah.
What's happening there?
Number
guys?
one, I really think it's a cultural thing. The different race from us don't find it uncomfortable at all.
It's just numbers. It's just math.
It's just numbers. Like it's not personal. It's what I'm expecting. You asked me what I'm expecting, and I'm telling you. Then you can say if you like it or not, if you can deliver it or not.
Yes.
Like it's not. I think it's African people that find it uncomfortable and difficult. Maybe I think it's definitely a cultural thing, but I think to make it less uncomfortable for yourself, have reasons. Don't just say I'm expecting figure X. I'm expecting figure X. To be honest, I even drew up a whole Excel spreadsheet, like a whole Excel. Like you will not miss my calculations and my thought process to the number I gave you, like how I got to it, right?
Yeah, because that's one of the things that they want to. They also sometimes they want to understand where are you getting the numbers, and then when you explain, then they say, oh, okay, because sometimes they might not have even gotten the idea.
Or thought
of where you're coming from. Yes. So you have to literally give justification why.
Yeah.
And that justification, what is it based on? Like maybe you can give us some of your argument points. Yeah,
different things. So obviously based on we can't run away. It's sad, but we can't run away from it. Your current salary, your current C2C. So if you do feel that you are underpaid, for example, I know a lot of people when it comes to the current CTC may feel like, no, I'm already underpaid and that's why I want to move. So you can't base my new salary on this CTC. First of all, I think a good starting point is to ask them the budget for that role. Most people don't ask that, and it's a good place to start so you can see where you play.
Negotiate.
And then sometimes if maybe they're not forthcoming with it and you're not getting the budget, then start with your CTC. Check the industry that you are going to, where these people are playing. There's so many tools available out there. What's the average? So you're applying for a manager role. What's the average for a manager role in data in a bank? So you're going to a bank. Then you get your figures. Okay, this is what it is. You can see, guys, clearly I'm below this. This
industry standard.
Industry standard. So please, so my CTC definitely cannot be a basis. Okay, so that's one is sorted. But say your CTC is a basis. This is my CTC. I want to increase like this based on inflation and based on how inflation is gonna go, projected inflations and whatnot. And then you also look at how you guys, your history in terms of yearly increases. You guys give 1% increases. Now I wasn't getting 1% increases. This is gonna slow me down financially. So I need to start at this base to be able to be comfortable with this 1% that you give. The last time you guys gave a bonus, when was it? 3 years ago. I'm used to getting a bonus yearly, so I need that compensation in my salary to make up for that yearly bonus I'm getting, that I might only be getting it here every 3 years. You look at your shares, you probably have shares where you are, depending on how those shares pay out. For example, I once worked for an org where it pays out like quarterly and was going to pay out, keep increasing at a certain rate and at a certain frequency. So you make all those calculations, your spreadsheet shows, and then it shows that if I'm calculating all of this is how much I'm losing. So you need to incorporate this in my C2C. So Every single element, guys, do not leave anything unturned. I'm gonna travel this more kilometers to work. Fuel, diesel, whatever you're using is this. It's this much a kilometer, so this extra is this much for me. I used to get free coffee at work. Now you guys don't give free coffee. I have to spend 50 rand a day on coffee, on every single thing. So it's, you don't just say, I just want a 20% increase.
Yeah.
You show it, like every single thing. Like my kids used to get on their birthdays, like I was in Ogwe, on your kids' birthdays, they'd get a lump sum of money that you have to save for them. And I'm losing that. I used to get discounts at the store because we own stores in that I'm losing this discount. And then they'll tell you, okay, this is the discount. You're going to get a discount on maybe clothing. Maybe now you're in the clothing industry. Then you see if it cancels that out. You talk. It's a whole negotiation. So I'm shocked when people just say a figure or they just take a figure. Like if your negotiation takes a day, I'm concerned.
Wow. And
it wasn't a negotiation. No one had to go back to someone to talk.
To do the numbers. I'm also noticing, Pauls, your approach is very clinical and not emotional. Because I think sometimes we attach a figure. I'm like, I want this. I'm emotional about it. I have told myself it's a goal of mine. You know, I deserve it. I went on vacation. And it becomes a very emotional thing.
I think one thing I would say about negotiations is also be honest in terms of what would make you stay. In terms of the figure that would make you stay.
So right.
Because you don't want to keep on be looking
for that figure.
If it's a deal breaker for you,
don't.
You'd rather
be honest to that's what you always say to them, to say the reason I'm asking for this, that I'm not trying to get another job in a year's time.
Yes,
I want to give you something that will make me happy and stay.
I want to stay. So that's why I'm saying this, because
and when you say
there
that,
can be better opportunities of me. And I believe in this company's vision. So I'm saying that I'm worth this investment. If you take me in, I'm willing. Obviously, we are assuming that you're going to do the things that we have said that you're going to do. And if you do that, definitely you will. So you tell them you want to stay. You see yourself long term. So that's why you want this remuneration.
And it's a good place, and it doesn't mean you'll get the figure you want. Like we said, it's a negotiation. Like you always say, in negotiations, you both win and you both lose. Like no one really wins or no one really loses. That's a fair negotiation. That's a fair negotiation. So, but at least people know where you're at mentally with what you want. So next time when you bring it up, it's not like how Sisi,
And I think when they are clear, and don't take it personally when they say no. It's not like they are rejecting you. They're rejecting the figure. So not don't take it as if they're saying you are not worth that figure. They are just negotiations.
But also be firm, just to push them, shake them a bit.
Be firm.
A little bit. Don't be scared.
So I have a question, right? So what happens when you find out that, you and your colleague, you guys are doing the same, either same role, same level, but you find out that they are earning substantially more than you are.
Not just more than you.
Not just more than you.
Substantially.
What do you do with that information? What do you do in that case?
It's a tricky one. In terms of the law, generally,
weapon of mass destruction.
It is. It's not allowed to, because it becomes an unfair labor practice. Because
I did not know that.
I also didn't.
The principle is usually equal work, equal pay.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that. Employers must.
Law.
They must literally, treat people the same. It's
sense,
against
right?
the Employment Equity Act. So you mean we must pay each other the same. Because it then, sows a lot of, resentment towards the organization, and they feel of being used and overworked.
Is that why they say we should keep it confidential?
That's why they want people to keep salaries confidential. But you literally can take the company on to the CCMA when you do find out that they are not, applying the rules consistently. It's not advisable. You must, if you say...
Oh, so is that why you're supposed to stick in a bracket? We might not cent for cent the same, but they should
because
be
there are other things, they can be a bracket, but it shouldn't be because
very big.
Yeah, you should be within the same bracket. And I think the salary scales and the schedule should be very clear. Because sometimes, there's people who have done maybe like an MBA, they've gone, done extra stuff. There is some form of
extra,
compensation that is given to that. And also some people have had more experience. They've been in the business for 20 years, so their annual increases has been the one, being, taken into consideration.
So the context is important.
The context is important, but it's not good for people who just started the same job, having the same qualifications, and there's no difference, especially where there's no difference. It becomes a big issue. But I think you as an individual,
when you
do find out,
you normally find out.
Obviously, it's gonna hurt your heart, but I think your mental disposition matters from that moment to say, what is it that I'm going to do to make sure that I earn more? And I think you really need to go and watch the podcast, the episodes
again,
of Uncut again.
And I think it matters how you take it, because for your own mental wellness, you need to have an approach. And predetermine that approach, because it will happen that you find out something like that somewhere, somehow. So I think for me, because I've seen when it does happen, it's like, it doesn't even empower you. You end up being the one falling down from that. Like, you end up not performing well. You're discouraged. Resentment. You're not happy.
And you could have been so happy before.
You could have been happy without knowing this information.
That's the mindset you must have.
This is the only time where we say, what you call ignorance is bliss. It's the only time.
Yeah, it is.
Ignorance is bliss.
I think,
it's that thing where you really need to guard your heart, because this can mess you up. So, and how you take it, it's happened before, but sometimes it's how you take it. Sometimes you can take it like, until we are able to go to that range, and then you kind of work yourself towards that there's more, we can actually get there. So it depends how you take it. Definitely one thing I wouldn't advise that I've seen happen is going to say, I found out 1, 2, 3, and because of that I want an increase, which they probably will give you when they realize that you have the info and you found out. I've seen people getting the increase like that. But personally, this is personal. As a person, that's not how I'd want an increase. For me, when you give me an increase, I want you to have felt like I bring value, I deserve it, I've worked so hard and blah, blah, blah. But it shouldn't be like I twisted your arm to give me that increase, because it also comes with a lot of bitterness from your end. Now you expect too much from me. You're micromanaging me. You're pointing out everything. Now we gave you this increase. Look. So for me, it's just not worth the drama. At least I know that there's more, and I can work my way up. So that's the approach I would take. So
I think even that disposition, it lives to you. Because your perception of the org changes in the sense that they could have been paying you. I mean, I think we've seen it at a certain point where people get an external offer, and maybe you've been trying to get an increase in here, and you've been told there's no budget. Now all of a sudden they can match it and even top it. And it's like, now what do I do? And most people then, they would choose to be like, no, but you guys could have been paying me all this time.
Now suddenly, because that's why people end up leaving, even if you match. It's like, that's not how I wanted it to happen.
To go to where you're celebrated than where you're tolerated. So at least it's also a learning curve for companies. Let's honor people. Especially people who want to be there and they want to do well,
and they really love the company.
I like that.
So I think it's just protecting yourself, because it can be very heartbreaking, information that can come to you.
The main thing is the wellness, your wellness.
Your mental health matters.
Keep your mental health together at all costs.
Because it can really, really affect your performance, and people won't see the reason why
you should be getting an increase.
So don't take things personally. If it has happened, just be grateful on what you have at the moment. That's the mindset that you carry, and then you work and endeavor to, get to even, get more than what your colleagues are getting as you get promoted. Yeah. Because it doesn't necessarily mean that if your colleague is earning more than you, it means that they are better than you.
It doesn't mean that. It might mean they had a better C2C wherever
they're coming from.
They just work for a good company.
They had better negotiation skills than you.
You just said we were scared to negotiate.
They had an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah, I've been in an org where like someone like equally she's actually like was my friend, and it's like, oh, you didn't get a sign-on bonus. I'm like, what sign-on bonus? And it's like, but it wasn't even a big deal because I asked myself, I think she put it in perspective for me. She was like, at first I wanted to get angry. What sign-on bonus? Then she said, did you ask for one?
Yeah.
And I said, I didn't ask for one. She said, you would have gotten one if you asked. So sometimes someone had good negotiation skills, not even the company. You didn't negotiate well.
That's correct.
That's it. It's not even personal. It's not even like they don't value you. You just didn't negotiate or ask for it.
This is empowering.
Yeah, so empower yourself essentially.
Yeah.
So then now, guys, you've now gotten your promotion, but now you are leading people. You were in the same, these were your peers.
Yeah.
Now they've stepped you up to lead that very same team of people. How do you deal with that dynamic change?
From friend to boss.
Yes. These were people you were dodging Fridays with.
Dodging.
I was like, bro. What you talking
And
about?
now when they're trying to do it, you're like, I know
Yes,
this.
I know you'll stand.
Yeah, I think what made you the boss is because you had, the goodwill of the people, I'm assuming. You had a good relationship with people. And I think you must be able to also step up a bit in terms of the way you
Can't
do
be at
things.
the
You
same.
can't be, because if you're going to lead, you have to show that you are different. So sometimes you have to have honest conversations.
Yeah.
Guys, I've got your back.
Nothing beats honest conversation.
You know, guys, I have nothing but mad love for you. But guys, I need your support.
I need your
Don't
support.
lord yourself over them. Don't just say I'm the boss
You
now.
can't force people
Because
to
these are your these are your people. You literally need their buy-in.
You need it.
Yeah.
You see, you need their buy-in because you're dealing with numbers. You're on your own. So you have to get their I need your support, guys, for this to work. And make them feel that you are part of them. Like,
Still,
guys, I'm going to be, supporting, I'm going to be rooting out for things. I remember when I became a manager,
from your friend
from my friends, they knew that they had someone in the inside.
It's like, one of us is in
One
there
of us
now,
is in there.
representing on the
Rooting for
table.
you.
So, but definitely you also have to show that you are that leader. Where you're saying, you know what, no, we want, Friday, half day, you're showing that you haven't left them, you're still part of the community.
And you still
but you are
get
also
it.
a leadership. So you are that person now they use to air their grievances, and when the company wants to get buy-ins, they use you because you're a friend. That's the beauty about having that type of leadership, because you get to have influence. At the same time, you get to have leadership. Especially
it's
if you're
actually a good
relatable.
space to be in.
So you get to literally make influence. What people don't want is when you just switch.
Now you're like, we're like, who's this?
Like, remember, you don't know who you're talking to.
You don't know who you're talking to.
So you don't want that. So you literally, I think you can literally navigate that space easily if you're someone.
Easy.
But
it's actually a good space to be in.
It is. You explain, guys. You see now. I can't lie. I can't give stuff now, guys. You can see the place that I'm in. But I promise that I'm still your friends. I'm still got you, because people want that assurance. They don't want to have this. Them, and you have separated yourself. No, you're still the same thing. You still hang out, but there are certain things that you stay, guys. I know we have to work on that.
I can't do it like this.
Yes. And make them buy into the vision, and you can definitely influence. So guys, that was what we have for today, man. We can say a lot.
We can stay here.
Man, it was a good time. Thank you so much for coming through. The crew, pals, man, we had a nice time, man. It was really, really good. So guys, this marks the end of our episode. So see you next week, man. We've got so much to talk about. So remember to like, share, subscribe. Tell us what you think about today's episode, guys.
And remember to catch up on all the other episodes so you can always have context.
Yes. So much that, we have spoken about this corporate world, man. You can do well if you want to. There's nothing that really can stop you. Guys, from me and the crew, ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao. It's a wrap.